you say, oh, I'm autistic, they're like, oh, she is a person with autism. I don't know what voice that was. I guess that was my doctor voice. Hey, it's Jenny. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the difference between person-first language and identity-first language when it comes to the autism community. Now you're probably like, what is that? So let's break down the terms first before we jump in. So person-first language is like saying a person with autism, a man with autism, she has autism. It's treating the person as separate from their autism and saying that they are a person first before they are autistic. Now you'll find this very common in the medical community, so they tend to treat every sort of thing that you might have as a separate thing from you. Like you wouldn't say, oh yes, my, such and such relative is a cancerous person. It's like, well, no, she has cancer, that's separate from her. You wouldn't say, oh, my partner is a flu-ridden person. You would say they have the flu. It's a person with the flu. It's separate, because it doesn't define who you are in your life. Then you have identity-first language, which is like saying, I am autistic. Autistic people, autistic men, women, children. You lump together their autism and who they are as a person into one thing. They are autistic. Now, a lot of neurotypical people, specifically those in the medical professions, will be like, oh, but you're not your autism, like you have it, but it's not who you are. But the fact is, the vast majority of autistic people prefer identity-first language. Autism isn't something we have or suffer with. It's not an illness. It's literally the lens through which we experience and see everything. So to us, our identity and our autism are forever connected. Now, of course, that's not to say that every autistic person prefers identity-first language. Every autistic person is different and has their own preferences, so it's always best to check just in case. For example, I don't really care either way. I will use both. I've used both in my videos. Of course, if I'm talking about someone specific, I will check with them, but when I'm speaking generally, I'm just as likely to say autistic people as I am to say people with autism, mostly for the sake of switching up the language. The issue for me comes if and when a neurotypical person corrects me and says, oh no, it's person-first language, please, which is literally a thing that happens. People literally do this. Assume that what the autistic person uses as their choice of language is correct for them. It's like pronouns, kind of. If someone corrects you or introduces themselves with certain pronouns, don't question it, don't correct them. They're gonna use the language they want used when it comes to them and their identity. And of course, language changes over time, so who knows what the argument will be in 5 or 10 years. So bottom line, basically, if you don't want to be offensive, which I assume you don't, I would use identity-first language, which again is autistic person, I am autistic, she is autistic. And that way, you're most likely not going to offend anyone. And of course, if someone does correct you, just say, oh, thank you, and make the change. You don't need to go into a whole, oh my god, it's just so hard, it's so confusing, I'm so sorry, I'm trying really hard. Like, don't. Just make the change, move on, it's not a huge deal. Anyway, I hope this helped. Thanks so much for watching. That's all for now, and I'll see you soon.